Hey everyone, it's Sensei Victoria Whitfield here, your journey partner in business, welcoming you back to episode 94 of the Journeypreneur Podcast. This is your source for channeled holistic stress management techniques, guidance, inspiration, and motivation to stay on your path to rapid financial ascension and massive impact as a conscious entrepreneur. So in this podcast episode, I got my sister friend Liz Roberts. I'm so excited to get to introduce you to her because she is a financial funding goddess. I've met her through Russell Brunson's 2 Comma Club X coaching program, and she's going to be sharing a little bit more of the nuggets of wisdom that she's picked up across her journey of over 20 years in business. And Liz, I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Victoria. I'm so excited to be here today.
Wonderful. So this may be the very first time that someone is getting to learn about you or meet you. And so I would love for you to describe what you're doing, but especially what are the 3 things that you're known for in your business? Could you tell us?
I'm known for working with startup businesses. Well, mostly I do high-risk financing, which is startup businesses and bad credit financing, I'm also known for building business credit, where it becomes quite necessary with people with some credit problems to get them on the road to building their credit outside of their personal credit while they're working on that personal credit to get it back into shape. I help them to build their business credit. And then I got into this industry through SBA and leasing, but then I took a little kind of like not quite a hiatus, but I started doing stuff, outsourcing things. So I took a while where I was training businesses how to outsource to the Philippines, and I was doing some work for people like Russell Brunson and Fabian Lim and some other really nice marketers out there. And I would go, especially Fabian was so good to me, he invited me to Singapore and Malaysia, and I put up classes of business owners there, and I taught them how to use outsourcing and increase their affiliate income by using outsourcing. Mm-hmm. So those are kind of like the 3 things I'm known for. Even as I was doing my outsourcing, I was selling my leads for my business loans, and I was still taking on a few clients, that were referred by other clients, but everything else I kind of sold off, because I was just so busy with the outsourcing. So it's been good business, both of them.
I love it. What was it like going to Malaysia for the first time? I'm curious.
It was awesome. I really loved it. And it was like, I always go to the Philippines, right? But I can't shop in the Philippines because I'm a full-figured girl, right?
Oh, right now.
So when I was in Malaysia, all of a sudden, I could find clothes I could actually buy for myself. I was like, ooh, they're fat over here. They're heavier over here,
I love it. Oh my goodness. Oh, that must have been so fun though.
It was. And then my friend took me to a place to get our nails done and get our feet done. And they actually put your feet in this water with these fishes, and they eat the calluses off your feet.
Oh my God, did it hurt? Oh my God.
It was like little tickle. But I was just like so afraid. I was like, oh my God, what if somebody puts like one of those man-eating fish in there, and you stick your foot in there?
Oh my gosh. Oh, how cool. What a crazy experience.
It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. So.
Oh, I love it. So what I love about what you're sharing there is that like there's this aspect of adventure and like fun to your business, because like honestly, I have to say, when I was looking at what you do, I was like, okay, well, I wonder how fun could she be if she but no, great, like traveling the world and having a ball. This is fabulous.
Oh yeah, I mean, like if you structure your business properly and you outsource what you don't need to do, you can free up time, and that gives you, I've been doing this so long that my niece, one time she was like, you own 4 houses, so you have to have a job, but you don't seem to do anything.
Love it.
I was like, I was like, because I make this job look easy, baby.
That's right. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, like, with that, so you make this job look easy now, but like, I'm curious, like, how did you first get into this? Like, what's the story that inspired you to get on to this path in the first place?
Well, when I was in college, I was doing consumer collections and debt settlement. As I was working my way through, I was working there. So I was a bill collector. Woohoo!
Yeah.
I worked for a really cool company where they were really forward thinking because they put us through this thing called debt settlement, right? They were buying old debt is what they were doing. And they taught us about credit repair, the tips on how to rebuild people's credit, because as we would go to settle this debt, we would offer them different tools on how they could not just pay off this old debt, but to rebuild their credit. And they even put us through this debt settlement group so that, or it was like it was a couple classes, I think it took like maybe months to go through. And then we got certified to do debt settlement for people. And it was just another way of like pulling them in and saying, we've helped you with this debt. We could help you with other debt. And it was just such a really positive experience where it wasn't just like, oh, these are bad credit people and we're going to pound on them, or like some of the places I've worked at before, it's just been like the top collector has been the one that's the loudest and the most obnoxious and offensive. But at this place, it was more of like, okay, how can we serve you? How can we help you to get out of this situation that you're in? And instead of like all this, it's not mine kind of let's write these letters to get your credit repaired, but in a positive way, help you to settle this debt. You're not going to pay all of it, but you'll have that satisfaction that you took care of your business, So it was like, from there, I was like, I like working with like bad credit people that are trying to move forward and trying to find them better ways and cheaper ways of doing things so that like they're not always being taken advantage of, because there's a lot of fraud in the industry and a lot of people that they know just enough to be dangerous,
Yes.
And so I find a lot of my clients have gone down that route before, and it's just like, wow, how much did you pay in credit repair and your credit score is still in the 500s? Okay, let's just work on this and get your business that loan that it needs, So that's kind of like where I started off, was just, it was really weird because I'd already done consumer collections. Like when I was just coming out of high school, I had a regular job, and then I took on a little part-time job for a telemarketing company. And at that one, they really taught us, just keep calling them and telling them that, loser, blah, 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 just terrible. And then here was just like a completely different mindset and a different way of doing things, and saying, yeah, okay, you made a mistake, but this is how we can fix it and help you get into that car or that get your house, and stuff like that. So
yay, I love it. It brings the love back into such a vulnerable and scary like space for people. Oh my gosh.
yeah. And then and if you think that it's scary in consumer financing when you've got bad credit, and business financing, it's ridiculous, I had a guy that approached me that wanted me to start sending him some business. But when I analyzed his rates, his effective rate, even though it was broken down in such a way that he told you that you should have 3 months, but like most people can't make that balloon payment. So he's like, yeah, you can roll it over, but the interest rate, I'm not really good with the math stuff. So I gave it to my dad, and he told me the effective interest rate was 99%.
What?
Yeah, I was like, but isn't that usury? And he's like, no, the way that they've set this up with the balloon payments and stuff like that, it's like, he goes, it's trickery, but it's not like, it's not illegal, And I
Wow.
was like, wow. So next time he called me, I was like, no, thank you. I don't think I'm going to be sending you any business.
Oh my God. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, girl, you just blew my hat off. Oh my God.
Yeah. I know. It's kind of like, I was in a couple of forums, and it was so funny. It was myself and another guy. We were talking to this guy about business credit because it's a falsehood where you have these business credit specialists who are telling people, don't work on your personal credit. You don't need it. You just need to do this, right? But in reality, you need to have some decent credit because there are banks that will just look at your business credit, but you're just working with a small circle of banks instead of the whole ocean full of banks that you could have been working with if you had just straightened up your personal credit, or done it both at the same time, And so we were sitting there in this forum talking, and this lady's like, kind of like, she's like the expert in the group, and she was like, you don't need this, you don't need that, and any bank that any bank in the nation would work with you, right? And so the guy I just said to her, you know what, thank you so much for having me on, but I'm going to agree to disagree. And then the other guy said, you know what, I need to leave too, if anybody wants to contact me. And he ended up being the chief loan officer at a bank in Virginia. Right?
Oh
He's sitting there telling everybody not, that we don't know Jack, and I was just like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I've been doing loans for close to 30 years. I was like, good. I hope that people that, were following along were like starting to like kind of say distance themselves. But unfortunately, a lot of people will sit there and they'll take the path of least resistance, and they don't want to do that, the hard part of cleaning up that personal credit. They just want to work on the business credit. And yes, you can build business credit without your personal credit. And yes, you can get lines of credit and stuff like that. But let's say like I had a good credit person that wanted to get a business line of credit, and they wanted to use their business EIN. I have a bank that will give them $25,000 to $50,000 with. They just look at their credit. They do a soft pull. As long as you're a 680 or above, they'll go ahead and approve you without a personal guarantee. So it's just like getting a loan with just your business EIN. But if you've got bad credit, they're like, no, we don't want to even bother. So in order for the bad credit person to get to that same level, they've got to do this thing called stacking. And they need to like get one level of cards where there's just vendors. They need to report for 3 to 6 months. Then they move on to the next tier. And then they get those people to report for 3 to 6 months. Then they move on to a next tier. And then you report again. And it's just like, at the end, you've like built up a nice stack. And then at, 6 months to a year later, you can qualify for that same line of credit that the good credit person did just by showing up.
What I love about what you're saying is that your education and your expertise really helps business owners who may not think that there's a way out, right?
Yeah.
How to really build their way out. So like you can't just expect to dig your way out of a hole. Sometimes you need to like construct the way out. And this is like a wonderful process of just cleaning up. Like for me, I'm an energy worker. So I always look at this as like, these are energy blocks on your finances.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to really get in there and just release and clean up those blockages so that you can finally get the funding that you need to take it to the next level. I love what you do. This is so good.
Yeah, I always like sit there and I tell my clients, I'm like, you know what? It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be easy, but it's worth it. It's really worth it, because I would love, like right now, to get you into to what you need. We're going to have to go with a high interest loan, but next year I would love to have the opportunity to refinance this for you, because you've cleaned up your credit and the bank is willing to do this. Or next year, maybe we've done the business credit and you now have an unsecured credit card at like 2% interest, and we'll just pay it off with that, and get rid of this high interest kind of stuff. So yeah, there's so many ways out there, but I like to work with them and figure out a way to get them out of the hole.
Yay, I love it. You're like a guardian angel. So good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm curious. So there could be like, my listeners tend to be conscious entrepreneurs, like people who are they want to get out there and serve more people, and they're on their journey doing their best to try and grow themselves and grow their businesses. But every so often, you and I both know that we come across a point in our business journey where, like, you have the option of throwing in the towel. And like, you've been in business a lot longer than me. I've only been in it for about 8 years or so. And for you, you've been like over 20. So tell me, like, do you have anything that you could say to them if they're coming to that point of like, maybe I should just stop and get a real job. Maybe I should, throw in the towel on my dream because I don't think I have what it takes. Have you ever had that kind of experience?
Yeah, but that, I think it comes to everybody, no matter how much time they spend in business, because you're going to have those ups and downs. That's life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like to think about clearing my head. Like, I will go and I have an annual retreat that I do for myself I like water. When I started my business, I was living in San Diego, and I used to go down to the beach, and I would sit on the private beach at the Hotel del Coronado and type in my little blog, right? And dream about what I was going to do someday, right? So what I like to do is I like to get away for a bit and just kind of do a brain dump, because it's like, you need to calm yourself, clear your head, write everything down, and move forward again. You may feel like you need to stop, but tread water. Just tread water and then start swimming again. Move forward, and surround yourself with positive people. I noticed that too, is that like, when I surround myself with people that have tried to run their business and failed, they make all these excuses that I can like pick up on and go, yeah, I can't do anything either. I can't move forward in my business because I got to go to casino too, and do whatever, right? But it just comes to a point where everybody gets tired. Sometimes your business is going gangbusters, and some people are so blessed that their business is always on the upscale, right? But we all go through bad things. We all go through like some bad investments. I've gone through some of those, and that's like, ooh, how much did I just lose?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord Jesus, I need a job, but who's going to hire me? I haven't had a job in 20 years. I was like, I'll just go look in the newspaper. And my friend was like, people don't look for jobs in the newspaper. I was like, oh. I'm like, where the hell do people get jobs? So then you just realize, I better stick with my dream, tread some water, work harder, keep going.
Yeah, I love that. And you know what? That's so good, because you can give yourself permission to like just pause and tread water and refresh yourself. Like, I love Oh my goddess, I love the retreat. Like get yourself out of the normal. Get yourself by the well, I'm a water girl too. I'm a water sign. So like get yourself by the ocean and just let it shift your mindset. I couldn't
Yeah, and don't Motel 6 it. Go find yourself a luxury place because you can think better in luxury.
Yes. No, you did not just say don't Motel 6. I love it. Oh my goddess. I couldn't agree more. This, you know what? But when you're in a luxurious setting, when you're in a natural setting, like there's the bigger parts of yourself that have faith and that have vision and that can like see past the minutia, because things that when you're in a luxurious environment, they're not small, right? They're bigger. They're like, it changes your perspective.
Exactly. Plus, it also gets into your soul. Like if you're like sitting there going, I love this. I want to do this again. You know, you're like, you know what? If I want to do this again, I got to get back to work. You know?
Yes. 100%. Oh, girl, I couldn't agree more. Like I took the entire day yesterday to go to a resort and spa because I needed to up level, and it's so healing when we make time for that. So I love it. We're twins.
Exactly.
So good. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And for those of you who are listening in, like, oh, we almost forgot to start recording. We were just keying it up over here. So Liz's energy is the best. And I want to make sure that my listeners get to know, where do we get to go celebrate you? So we know that Liz Roberts, you've got some juicy, awesome energy. You're trustworthy. You're doing good financial healing work in the world out there. And where do we get to go to celebrate you or to send people who we care about to you as well?
Well, our website is leasefunders.com, like an equipment lease, leasefunders.com. We have all of our different programs on there. And we also have a tab that says events, because I do like small events from time to time, usually in places I'm just like visiting. I'll go, oh, this would be a nice tax write-up. I mean, like, cut that part out.
Oh, no, that's right. You best believe when I'm doing strategic planning at the spot, that's the tax write-off, because the rest of my business, right? I had a few like client calls, like this is it.
Exactly.
Amen. Oh my God, this is so good. Leasefunders.com. Like, oh, I can't wait to go and support you and celebrate you, Mama. Thank you so much for all the light that you bring into the world, especially in such dark and scary places.
Thank you. Oh, I forgot to mention, we're having, we have 3 events coming up. We have one in Chicago, on the 2nd of November. We have another one in Phoenix, Arizona on the 14th, and then one in Houston, Texas on the 16th.
All righty. And that's all on the website? People can go to.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yay. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to send more people your way. And I'm excited to see you at the next 2CCX event. Mama, this is so juicy. Thank you for being on the podcast, Liz.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And so I'm going to turn it over to our listeners now, by the way. If this is your first podcast episode, welcome to the Journeypreneur Podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you get these first as they come out during weekdays. And while you're at it, if this really spoke to you, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Put in that comment section, episode 94. What was the biggest takeaway? What was the one thing that touched your heart the most? Was it the fish eating on Liz's feet? Right? Oh my goodness, her story of really bringing more light and love to the rebuilding credit process for business owners. What stood out to you? Leave that in the comments section here on iTunes when you leave us your 5-star review. And for those of you who have already, thank you so much. It's a real blessing to get to read through what's speaking to you and what touches your heart. Like, not only do I feel nourished because you see me and all the work that I'm doing here, but it also helps us reach more journeypreneurs out there who may not know like who to turn to or where the really good information is. So thank you for all your support. And so that's it for today's podcast episode. I'm gonna end this out the same way that we always do, by saying, please remember to enjoy the journey. Do not lose your glow as you grow in life and business. And we'll see you in the next podcast episode. Bye for now.
Bye.